You probably had breakfast this morning. Maybe it was cereal, maybe eggs. Maybe you grabbed something from a wrapper on your way out the door. You did not think twice about it, but that meal, whatever it was, is one of the strangest things any creature on this planet has ever consumed. And the real story of what your body was actually built to eat will change the way you look at every single plate in front of you. Here is the part nobody tells you. There is no such thing as the human diet. There never was. Your ancestors ate in ways that would horrify a nutritionist today, and they thrived. They also ate in ways that would look completely familiar, and sometimes they starved. What they never did, not once in 2 million years of evolution, was eat the way most people in the modern world eat now. Start at the beginning. Around 2 million years ago, your earliest ancestors in the genus Homo were eating something that set them apart from every other primate on Earth. They were eating meat, not occasionally, not as a treat, regularly, deliberately, and in large quantities. Paleoanthropologist Richard Wrangham at Harvard University has spent decades studying the relationship between diet and the evolution of the human brain, and his research makes one thing unmistakably clear. It was food, specifically cooked food, that made you human in the first place. Before cooking, the caloric return on raw food was low. Your digestive system had to work enormously hard to extract energy from raw plant matter and uncooked meat. Chimpanzees spend around 6 hours a day just chewing. 6 hours. Your jaw muscles, your gut, your digestive tract. They are all significantly smaller than those of your nearest living relatives, and the reason is fire. When Homo erectus learned to cook food roughly 1.8 million years ago, something extraordinary happened. Cooking broke down fibers, killed parasites, softened starches, and pre-digested proteins. Suddenly, your ancestors were extracting far more energy from the same amount of food and spending far less time and energy doing it. That freed up calories to feed the most expensive organ in your body, the brain. Your brain is roughly 3 times larger relative to body size than a chimpanzee's, and it runs on glucose. Cooking made that possible. But what exactly were they cooking? This is where it gets strange. Anthropologist and nutritional researcher Herman Poncer of Duke University has spent years studying modern hunter-gatherer populations, groups like the Hadza of Tanzania, who live today in ways that closely mirror how your ancestors lived for most of human history. What he found dismantled almost every assumption you might have about ancestral eating. The Hadza do not follow a high-protein, meat-heavy diet. They do not follow a plant-heavy, vegan-adjacent diet either. They eat whatever is available, and the proportions shift dramatically by season, by location, by luck. Some weeks are almost entirely plant-based. Some weeks include significant amounts of wild game. They eat honey, enormous quantities of it when it is available, far more sugar than most nutrition experts would recommend. They eat tubers dug raw from the ground. They eat berries, baobab fruit, and marrow cracked from the bones of animals. The defining feature of the ancestral diet, Poncer argues, is not any particular macronutrient ratio. It is variety. It is seasonal flux. It is eating what the environment provides and never having a consistent, predictable pattern. That finding is deeply uncomfortable for the modern diet industry, because the diet industry is built on consistency, on systems, on the idea that there is one correct way to eat. Your evolutionary history says the opposite. Your body was built for radical dietary flexibility. It evolved to handle feast and famine, sugar and fat, periods of near starvation and periods of caloric abundance. The stomach you are carrying right now is not designed for 3 square meals a day. It is designed for uncertainty. Here is the counterintuitive part. Some of the things modern nutrition has labeled dangerous were, for most of human history, life-saving luxuries. Fat was not the enemy. Fat was the prize. When your ancestors made a kill, they went for the fat deposits first. The bone marrow, the organs, the fatty tissue around the kidneys. These were the calorie-dense parts. The lean muscle meat was almost secondary. Anthropologist Tim Spector, in his research at King's College London, has documented how traditional cultures around the world share this instinct. The preference for organ meats, fatty cuts, and calorie-dense animal foods that modern Western palates often reject. The liver, the brain, the heart. These were not byproducts. They were the reward. Sugar was the same way. The reason you crave it, the reason it lights up the reward centers of your brain the same way certain drugs do, is because sweetness was a signal. It meant ripe fruit.